Hi everyone, my name is Kate and I'm the Academic Advisor for the Weber Honors College. If you'd like closed captioning, please click CC below. The most important thing you need to know is in the first 30 seconds of this video. You need to enroll in Honor 113 for the fall in order to stay in the Weber Honors College. Honor 113 is a 3-unit class. If your first choice section is full by the time you attend orientation, you'll need to enroll in a different open section of Honor 113. You're welcome to waitlist the section you prefer, but be prepared to ultimately take the section you're enrolled in. The rest of this video will show you how to enroll in your honors class and how to start planning out the rest of your major and GE classes for the fall. There's a frequently asked questions section towards the end of this video, and all the links you hear me talking about today are right in the video description below. So let's jump right in and talk about what's going to happen on your orientation day. You should already have your pre-orientation modules online. These were sent to you via email on Thursday, May 25th. If you're having any trouble accessing the pre-orientation modules, you'll want to email orientation@sdsu.edu. On your actual orientation day, you'll start bright and early with check-in opening at 8 a.m. Later on, you'll meet with an SDSU ambassador who's an upperclassman who is trained to help you get ready for orientation, and the assistant dean for your college who will go over services available for your college and your major. You'll also finalize your fall schedule and make sure you're fully registered for all of your classes. But how will you know how to register or what to take? This video will go over the remainder of that. After watching this video, you may want to make a one-on-one appointment with me to discuss your fall classes. As I mentioned in my previous video that you received in May, we have over 1,000 amazing honors students, and I'm the only advisor, so please know that it is extremely likely that all of my available appointment times will fill up. If you are not able to make an appointment with me before your orientation day, that's okay. It's not mandatory that we meet before your orientation. We can also meet after your orientation day. But please do not schedule an appointment with me during your orientation day. You're going to have a really busy schedule that day and you don't want to miss anything. Before your orientation day, the most important thing is to make sure that you've taken any placement exams that your major requires. The two big ones here are going to be math if you're going to take calculus and chemistry if you're a science major. If you haven't taken the placement exam, or if you're just not sure if you need it, go to the testing services website directly. I'll include a link in the video description. You can find a list of majors that need to take these exams. And if your major isn't on it, you don't have to take them. Also, make sure you've submitted your AP or IB scores and any community college transcripts you might have. Just to quickly clarify, I'm your honors advisor and your coordinated care advisor, and I'm one of the many advisors you'll have on campus. You'll all have your own major advisor who will talk to you exclusively about your major classes and when you should take those. It's your job to put together your major classes and your GE classes and your honors minor requirements, but that can be kind of tough. So that's where I come in. I can help you put together everything and create a balanced schedule. I can also help you figure out how to incorporate your honors minor classes and your GE classes into your 4-year plan. Let's fast forward 4 years from now. When you graduate, you'll be competing with thousands of other students with 4.0 GPAs and your same major for jobs in graduate schools. So what sets you apart? The honors minor focuses on interdisciplinary studies, which means we're looking at issues from various viewpoints and disciplines and seeing how they all fit together. All the classes you get to choose from have different topics, and there's no one major that's the best fit for honors. One question we get a lot is, are honors classes harder than my regular classes? The answer is definitely not. Usually they're smaller classes, about 25 students per class, and they're discussion-based. So you're not going to have a professor who's just lecturing at you for an hour and a half twice a week. Now that said, because it is a smaller class and generally participation is expected, you'll want to make sure that you're keeping up with all the assignments and the reading for your classes for honors. Most students tell us they love honors classes because they count as GPA boosts for them. Most of the time too, their major classes can be more challenging than their honors classes here. So definitely not comparable to AP classes, IB classes, or honors classes that you might have taken in high school. What's cool too is that you're going to be mixed with different majors in your honors classes, which is a really great way to mingle with your peers and really get to know other students you might not have known otherwise. Now, keep in mind that honors does not affect your major classes. So your major classes might still be big and you may still have an intro major class that's a few hundred students. So the honors small classes only affect the honors minor classes. Another awesome thing is that you're required to complete an international experience or a study abroad program and a high impact practice for honors. So that's something else that's going to set you apart. And finally, you're going to have the support of the honors staff to help you figure things out, like planning for graduate school, learning how to apply for internships. determining how to find research opportunities, learning how to get involved on campus or outside of SDSU. So these are all additional resources as well that the Weber Honors College provides for you. I've talked about the honors minor a lot, so let's break that down. The honors minor curriculum is a total of 16 units, and you'll be taking 4 of those units in the fall semester. You'll be taking a 1-unit class, Honor 100, for 50 minutes one time a week. It's from 9 a.m. to 9:50 a.m. on Wednesdays, and this is the class that you'll already be enrolled in. It's an Introduction to Honors seminar, which gives you an overview of how to be successful in honors and at SDSU in general for your next few years. Honor 100 will be the only honors class you're going to take that's going to be really big. And that's because every incoming first-year student will also be in the 9 a.m. section of the class. It'll automatically be on your schedule for the fall, so make sure that you're just planning your other classes around that time. Your other honors class for the fall semester will be a 3-unit course called Honor 113. This is the class that I mentioned at the very beginning of the video. This is a small class, about 25 seats per section, and you get to choose which topic you want to enroll in. I'll include a list of all those course descriptions in the email. All the Honor 113 classes are at different times, different days, and they all have different professors. The best way to choose your class is to read through the course descriptions that I've included in this email and pick the one that you're most interested in. Let me show you how to add Honor 113 to your class schedule using MySDSU now. All right, so the first thing I want to do is just give you all a quick overview of how do you search for classes on MySDSU. So you might ask, what is MySDSU? It is a system that you're going to use to enroll in classes for every semester. So you'll get very familiar with this quickly. You'll also go over this in much more detail during your orientation day, so don't worry. So I will include these links in the video description as well. But the first one is a guide on how do you search for and filter for classes. So let's go through this briefly, and then I'll give you a quick kind of overview on MySDSU. So the first thing is that when you log into MySDSU, you're going to have a tile that looks like this, and it's going to say Manage Classes. So you'll go ahead, select that. And then the next thing is you just want to make sure you're enrolling in classes for the right term. So of course, for right now, you want to be enrolling in Fall 2023 classes. So just make sure you have Fall 2023 selected. And then a couple ways you can search for classes. The first is by searching by a keyword. So for an honors class, you could type in honors college, honors, and it will show up in there, the list of courses. However, what I found is that when you just type in the name of a class here in the search bar, it's going to pull up every class that's somehow connected to that. So if I type in honors, it may pull up other classes that are not actually in the Weber Honors College. They might just have honors somewhere in the description or the title. So what I would strongly recommend doing would be using the additional ways to search button. I think this is a lot easier, filters your classes, highly recommend. So what you'd want to do is select this button right here, just as additional ways to search. And then you're going to get this little pop-up. So what you'll be able to do is select the available subject. For honors classes, it's going to say honors college. So select honors college. And then right here where it says catalog number, you can type in Honor 113. Don't worry about putting an instructor name in there. You can just select Honors College, type in Honor 113 for the catalog number, and then go ahead and click search, and it's going to give you the full list of Honor 113 classes that are available for the fall. So let me show you what that looks like real quick. This is my SDSU homepage. Yours is going to look a bit different as a student, but we both have this Manage Classes tile. So again, click on Manage Classes. And then we want to make sure we're selecting Fall 2023. So let's click on that. And then again, we can see the search for classes bar. But like I was saying, I like to use additional ways to search. So let's use this. And then we can go ahead and look up Honors College. So Honors College, let's type in 113 and then click search. Okay, so we can see right here, Honor 113, 16 class options available. So let's click on this. And now you're able to see all of the different Honor 113 classes. So right here, if you click where it says course information, this is just a very, very, very general interview of what Honor 113 is. Again, you're going to really want to take time to read through the full course descriptions for each section. So make sure to do that. The course descriptions are in the email, but you can check here. You can see, when does the class start? What days and times is the class held on? what room, who's the instructor, and most importantly, how many open seats. So you can see right now, because no students have started enrolling in Honor 113 yet, because that happens during orientation, they all have 20 out of 20 seats available. So you may need to be checking this a little bit more frequently as you get closer to your orientation day to make sure you're finding an open section of Honor 113 to enroll in. The next thing I want to quickly cover is how to add a class to your shopping cart. So I don't have the shopping cart function in my MySDSU as a staff member, but you will have this on your MySDSU. So once you find the class that you want, right? We use managed classes. We looked up the Honor 113. You find the section you want. What you'll need to do is hover over the class right here and actually select it. So if we go back to this, these would you'd be able to like hover over these, right? You can kind of click on these classes. So you'd select the one you want. So you'd click on it. And again, you'll get extra assistance with this during your orientation day. So you hover over the class. And then what you can do is if you would like to waitlist the class, if it is full at the time of your registration, you're able to select yes or no. And then finally, what you'll want to do is add the class to the shopping cart. So there'll be a little button for you to do that if it's before your registration. And you would just click accept, and then it will add the course to your shopping cart. So you're able to add classes to your shopping cart before you officially register in classes. What I want students to be aware of, though, is that just because you're adding something to your shopping cart does not mean you're enrolling in the class. You will not officially register for classes and enroll in your classes until your orientation day in July. So for right now, it's just kind of putting it in your shopping cart. So think about it like you're online shopping on Amazon. You're adding things to your shopping cart, but you haven't actually checked out and paid yet. That's kind of what this is. So you have your classes in your shopping cart. They're not reserved for you though, and you're not officially enrolled in them. It's just kind of keeping them in one concise area. Think about it like a wish list of courses that you want to be taking. Remember, we're only planning for classes before your orientation day. The first day of orientation is July 8th, so students will start officially enrolling in classes then. As I've mentioned a couple times, it is possible that by the time you attend orientation, your first or second choice section of Honor 113 might be full. You'll want to make sure you have a few backup sections in mind just in case, since you will need to enroll in an open section at orientation. Yes, as I mentioned, you can waitlist another section, but you have to be actively enrolled in an Honor 113 section by the end of your orientation day. I want to be honest with you, it's very unlikely that students will drop Honor 113 and the professors will not be adding additional seats. So you should plan on staying in the section you enroll in during your orientation day. Earlier, I talked about making sure you have a balanced schedule every semester. Let's talk about that a little bit. You'll have major specific requirements. For the first 2 years, those classes are called major prep courses. Those are lower division prerequisites to complete before you officially start your upper division major courses. Once you finish those, then you'll start taking your upper division major courses, which is usually during your last 2 years. And then everyone, regardless of major, has general education requirements. You have lower division GE classes that you'll take during your first 2 years, and then you'll only have a few upper division GEs that you'll take in your last 2 years. So every semester, we try to have a nice balance of major, GE, and honors classes. For the fall semester, I suggest aiming for about 13 to 17 units. You can't enroll in more than 18 units until 1 week before the start of the semester, and I really don't recommend that you take that many units during your first semester anyways. Some majors will require you to take more units, so you and I can chat about that if you're feeling unsure about anything, and just to make sure that you're feeling supported if you do need to take more units during the fall. All right, let's get into the planning process. Quick note, you may have elected to have your classes pre-registered for you for the fall. Not all majors had this opportunity, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. But if that's the case and you were pre-registered, the only class you're going to need to add yourself at registration is Honor 113. Let me know if you have any questions about this. We have something called a MyMap or My Academic Plan, and it outlines every single major class and GE class that you need to take to graduate in 4 years. Please know, it is not personalized, meaning that if you came in with any AP or IB credit or community college classes or dual enrollment that cleared requirements for you, it does not show up as completed on your MyMap. It also doesn't show where you put your honors classes or any other minor classes. So that's why it's helpful to chat with an advisor to make sure you know what you have already completed. So I'm going to show you how to use your MyMap real quick here. So go into your browser, and what I type is just SDSU MyMap, and this should pop right up. So the first thing you need to do is select your catalog year. So that's just the year that you're starting at SDSU. So let's go ahead and look up 2023. And then you're able to select your major. So I'm going to use religious studies as an example. So let's look that up. All right, and then we can click submit. And this is how we're able to see all the different courses that are needed to be taken for this major to complete it in 4 years. We have our first year, second year, third year, and fourth year. Now we can see from semester to semester which classes to take. Again, this is not personalized and MyMap is super generic. I'd say 95% of students do not follow this plan specifically. However, the most important classes to take according to the plan are going to be your major prep classes. A lot of times GEs and electives can be moved around. Each class is going to be categorized. It's either going to be listed as a GE, a major prep class, or it could count for both. For example, right here, we can see GE written communication is listed for fall semester first year. So because it says GE, we know it's a general education class. And then it's listed as written communication. But if we look to the right here, there's no specific name of a course listed for this. That means that you're able to take any GE written communication class to fulfill that requirement for the GE. However, when we look a little bit further down for the first year, we can see another GE Arts and Humanities, which is a humanity. It's also overlapping with major prep. Although right here, we can see there's a specific course you'll need to take. So that is Religious Studies 101. So this is just letting you know that you'll need to take Religious Studies 101 as a major prep class, and it's going to fulfill one of your GE humanity courses. We can see here that it is also listing language first semester as another course for this major. So one thing to keep in mind is that every Bachelor of Arts degree at SDSU has a language requirement. So make sure you are checking that. When you do pull up a MyMap, you can see if it is listed as BA, that would be Bachelor of Arts. If anything is listed as BS, that's Bachelor of Science. So most Bachelor of Sciences, you don't have to complete a language, but all the Bachelor of Arts programs here at SDSU, regardless of major, do need to fulfill a language requirement. One good thing to know with the language requirement is that it will overlap with another GE for you, GE Humanity. So you can see right here, it's going to indicate that it is overlapping. Now, for the language requirement, you're able to choose any language. But one thing to also know is that you may have actually fulfilled this language requirement from either AP credit, IB credit, dual enrollment credit, or if you took a certain amount of years of a certain language in high school, that can fulfill it as well. So make sure you're double checking. If you didn't clear your language requirement, you're going to want to try to start that language sequence during the fall semester if possible. So here's where it starts to get a little complicated. The requirement for the university is that you need to complete a third level of a language. So there's two ways to get that done. Option number one is that you can start a language from scratch. So it could be any language, and then you would need to complete levels 1, 2, and 3. Generally, that's going to happen over the course of 3 semesters. Or option number two is if you already have some proficiency in a language and you don't want to start from the beginning, you could take a language proficiency exam to see what level you place into and then start at that level. So for example, let's say you place into the second level of the language, maybe you would only have to take 2 semesters to complete through the third level instead of having to complete all 3 semesters of a language. So when we take a look at MyMap, we can see that you already have a very full schedule set for you for the fall semester. So 16 units right here. Plus you have to add your honors units. So it's again, honor 100, which is 1 unit, and then honor 113, which is 3 units. So we don't want you to have to put 4 units on top of an already full schedule. And I definitely don't recommend that you take 20 units during your first semester. So how would we fit this into your schedule? You'll have 2 options. Number one, if you're already finished with a GE requirement from AP credit, IB credit, dual enrollment, you can cross that off of MyMap and then add your 4 units of honors classes in that spot. Your second option is that you can move a GE requirement to a different semester. Please know you cannot move a GE written communication, a GE oral communication, GE critical thinking, or GE math to a different semester if it's listed in the fall. So if any of those classes are listed for fall, you need to be taking them in the fall if you don't already have them completed. The best GEs to move are American institutions, GE lifelong learning and self-development, GE arts and humanities, or electives, unless any of those are required for your major prep or something that overlaps with your major requirements. We're essentially swapping out a 3-unit GE class and adding in Honor 113, which is 3 units, and Honor 100, which is 1 unit and is already on your schedule for the fall. Okay, so now that you know how to see an overview of which classes you need to take, How do you know which classes you might have credit for after passing your AP exams? I've included a link to the university policies page in the email and in the video description below, so you can come back and take a look at this later. But you want to make sure that it is listed for the 2023-2024 university catalog, since that is this academic year. And then what you want to select is academic credit through examination. So go ahead and select that, and it's going to take you down to this chart. So this is how you can see AP credit and IB credit, and then what that could earn credit for here at SDSU. So let's take a look. So first, let's start with looking at the advanced placement credit page, and let's use English right here, English language and comp as an example. So you can see here, if you score a 3 or 4 on the test, you are getting credit for a class called RWS 300 and 3 units for RWS 299 here at SDSU. If you score a 5 on this exam, then you get credit for both RWS 100 and RWS 200. Another one we could look at would be, let's take a look, US history I know is very popular. So if you score a 3, 4, or a 5, you can get credit for History 109 and History 110 here at SDSU. One thing to make sure you're aware of is that at SDSU, we do have a requirement called California State and Local Government, and AP credit cannot fulfill the Cal State and Local Government requirement. And you can see that's noted right here, does not satisfy a California government requirement. If you scroll down a little bit further, you can see IB credit, that we also have a chart for this as well. So if you took any IB classes, make sure you're taking a look at this too. Another great tool for you to use is the general education requirements in the 2023-2024 university catalog. So let's say your MyMap says you need to complete a GE physical science this semester. So here's what you can do. You can pull this up, and then you'll want to scroll down a little ways. So keep scrolling until you see the text turn red right here. And right now you probably be looking for your GE foundations. So we can see right here, okay, physical science, we can click on this. And then this is going to show you a list of courses that can fulfill the GE physical science requirement for you. So if you click on any of the courses, let's use astronomy as an example, it will give you a short little description, how many credits it's worth, and if there's any other kind of notes you need to know about the course. So this is a great way you can search for GE classes. If we keep scrolling down here, we can see, GE labs, GE math, social and behavioral sciences, arts and humanities. You can see right here, these are the arts, these are the humanities. So make sure you are using this as a resource too. If you just want to kind of scroll through your options of courses, read a little bit more about them, this is a really fun way to do that. When we were looking at MyMap earlier in this video, I did mention some important GE courses that you might have to take during your fall semester, which could include written communication, oral communication, or GE math. So it might just say on your MyMap that you need to take written communication. So we can select written communication right here. And then this will give you the full list of courses that fulfill that requirement. Again, if you click on any of these, it will give you a short description of the course. Another helpful tool I want to show you how to use really quickly is how to find the fall 2023 class schedule. So what I do is I would just Google SDSU fall 2023 schedule, and then go ahead and click. It should be, if you're Googling, the first search here. So fall 2023 academic calendar through the Office of the Registrar. So let's click on that. And then this is just an overview of important dates to know for the fall schedule. So you can definitely take a look at this. I'll include this link as well, but make sure you go ahead and select right here, fall 2023 class schedule. And this is going to take you to the list of courses for the fall. So again, we kind of did this a little bit earlier when we were looking at those Honor 113 courses, but you can click on fall 2023. And then just like we did with Honor 113, you can search for classes. So let's say, and again, additional ways to search, let's say you're looking for a psychology class. So we can search the name of the class, and then if you want to include the number you're looking for, you can do that. So let's use Psychology 101, very popular course, and then click search. Make sure here that you are selecting SDSU, so San Diego campus right here. That will only bring up psychology courses that are here in San Diego at our San Diego campus. And then you can go ahead and select Psychology 101. All right, and then you can see right here when the classes start, what days and times, who the professor is, and then what room the courses are in. Another important thing to note, how many seats are open. So you can see that some of these courses already have seats that might be taken. That's because our continuing SDSU students have already enrolled in classes for the fall. So just make sure you're checking open seats as you do get a little bit closer to your registration day in July. Another nice thing you can use with the MySDSU tool is you can click on course information. This will give you a very, very brief overview of the course, how many units it's worth, just kind of general information here. And then what I'd also recommend doing is select where it says lecture underneath class. And then this will give you even more information about the course. So to let you know, does it fulfill a GE course? You can see right here, Psychology 101 fulfills GE Foundation, Social and Behavioral Science. If there's any prereqs required for a course, it generally would pop up right here under the requirements. So make sure you're checking this for all of your classes. If you're looking for meeting information, again, it just gives you days, times, location, and instructor, and then any other details you might want to know about the class. So just make sure you're using this as a tool when you are searching for your classes. At this point, you have all of the tools needed to start putting together your schedule for the fall. You can use MyMap to see which classes are required for your major. You can use the AP or IB page in the general catalog to see which classes you have credit for. And you can use the class schedule tool to find specific classes. Pretty exciting, right? My suggestion for you is to make a list of each required course and which sections are your top choices for the fall. For example, if you're required to take Econ 101 in the fall, take note of the top 3 sections you'd be interested in taking after looking at the available open times. That way, if your top choice section fills up before you register for classes, you'll have a quick backup ready. Or let's say you want to take Music 151 for your GE Art and all those sections are filled up before your registration time. That's okay. Then you can just go back to your GE Art options and pick another class that has open seats. The same thing goes for your Honor 113 class. If your first choice Honor 113 fills up, you'll want to have reviewed the Honor 113 course descriptions and selected a backup section that you'd be happy with taking. On your orientation day, it's possible that your first choice sections may be full. My pro tip is to check the number of seats 1 week in advance, and then again 1 day in advance, and then 1 hour before your orientation starts to see if all those courses are still open. Students are generally registered by 6 p.m. on their orientation day. So if you check by 6 p.m. after orientation, you'll have a pretty decent estimate of what will be open when you go to orientation the next day. I really appreciate you watching this entire video. I know it's really long. It just means that you're going to be really prepared for your orientation day. All right, now it's time for some FAQs. Generally, 10 minutes between classes is enough time to get from class to class with a brisk walk. You won't be able to officially change your major quite yet. However, you can pick the MyMap for your new major and use that to plan out your fall classes. But you'll really want to contact new student and parent programs by emailing orientation@sdsu.edu or calling 619-594-1509 to let them know that you'd like to change your major. That way they can assist you in attending the correct orientation day. That's awesome. Undeclared is one of my favorite majors because you could explore tons of different academic departments while still completing your GE requirements. You can use the undeclared MyMap to plan your classes and connect with me if you have any questions. If you're undeclared but already know which major you want to choose, you should follow the same instruction as the question about changing your major and contact new student and parent programs. Go back and watch the earlier part of this video to see where I talk about how to plan for classes on MySDSU. It'll be much easier to go back and just rewatch that portion. The link to schedule an appointment with me is in the email. As I mentioned in this video and earlier in the past video, we do have over 1,300 incredible honors students, so it is very, very likely that all of my appointment times will fill up this summer. So just please know if we're not able to meet before your orientation, that is totally fine. It is not required that we meet before your orientation. We could definitely meet after your orientation later in the summer, or you could email me at honorsadvising@sdsu.edu with any questions. If you want a double major, you don't need to do anything right now. Register for classes for your first major and GEs and honors classes and those classes that you'll need for the fall. And then we can talk about how to add a second major and how to incorporate those classes into your schedule during the fall semester. For any questions related to housing, you're going to need to contact the housing office. Their website is housing.sdsu.edu. All right, you've done your homework. Now's the time to start working on your schedule for fall before you attend your SDSU orientation. As a reminder, you'll have assistance during orientation when you register for classes. Rewatch this video if you have to, and I'm so excited to finally get to meet you. You're going to be more than prepared for orientation, but let me know through email if you have any questions beforehand.